Salut, c'est Géraldine, bienvenue sur Comme, Française TV, sound French, even to the French. All aboard the Comme, Française Express, today we're going to talk about French railway system. Choo-choo! The French railway network. Ooh, this is going to be hard. In France, we have an extensive and technically reliable railway system. Only one company manages the trains on the rails, la SNCF. La SNCF, you have to know this one. The National Company for French Railroads. It has a long and complicated history, with political and ideological ramifications that I won't talk about today. You may hear about les grèves as well, les grèves, the strikes, the French rail workers' strikes. That happens from time to time, but some even say regularly. But in my own experience, it very rarely caused me a problem. Yes, I'm very lucky. Long distance by TGV. To travel between cities around the country, you will get to ride the famous jewel of French technology. I'm talking about le TGV, le train à grande vitesse, train à grande vitesse, high-speed train. They're fast, they're slick, and they are a very practical way to traveling in France. Paris is the TGV network center. From there, you can easily reach any big city in France in 3 or 4 hours in a relaxing train car. For TGVs, you have to book, the earlier the better. We'll see how later in this episode. We also have special lines to some of our European neighbors. Thalys are trains going north, Brussels and Netherlands, while Eurostar trains take the tunnel across the channel to go to London. That's very useful. These lines mostly use TGV as well. Intercité, TER and international lines. TGVs don't make every trip. For small distances between cities or for less connected destinations in France, you might have to take un train intercité, or un train express régional. But we don't call them this way, we call them TER. TER for train express régional. They're not bad per se, but they're usually slower and they stop in many stations along your way. Transilien and RER. Transilien are trains connecting the suburbs in Île-de-France, the Parisian area. While a separate company for Parisian public transportation, la RATP, is responsible for le métro, le Transilien is managed by the National Railway Company that we've talked about before, la SNCF. However, they're well connected and complement each other. You can take le Transilien, le RER, or le métro together. Le Transilien consists of 14 main lines. The most used and famous are the first 5 called RER, that I just talked about, and lettered A, B, C, D, E. That RER, the RER has regularly congestion problems and isn't as emblematic as le métro, but it still has its fun and is very useful for commuting. Why use the trains? What other transportation can I use? In France, trains are generally quite a cheap, fast and convenient and reliable mode of transport, relative to their competitors, especially for long-distance trips around the country. But which other option do you have? Let's review the competition. For shortest trips, you can walk, bike or use public transport. French cities have large sidewalks and frequently now cycle lanes, les pistes cyclables, especially here where I live in Grenoble. And most cities have a reliable public transport system, so you can use those. You can also use your car. It can be cheaper and more convenient than a train in a way, but traffic and tiring hours behind the wheel might make you choose the faster and safer railroad. A booming transport mode now in France is carpooling. We call this le covoiturage, with its leading website and app called Blablacar, or covoiturage.fr as well. It's slower and less reliable than the train, but usually cheaper, way cheaper, and you can get to meet new people. Hitchhiking is also possible, mostly safe, but it's an adventure in itself. And of course, planes. However, for trips inside the country, inside France, because it's smaller than the US, for example, we usually prefer train to plane, and planes are mostly used for business trips. How to buy your tickets. For suburban trains and TER, the ticket price is fixed and you can buy a ticket at the machines or teller in any train station, or in most metro stations for le RER. There's usually a ticket to travel in the city itself and separate and more expensive ticket if you want to travel to a specific station in the suburbs or between two such stations. Paris is a ticket and then the suburbs you have to pay extra. Many plans are available though, like a global ticket for a day if you're a tourist and visiting a lot, or the month, or you can find more information by asking a teller or online on Transilien.com, for example. For long trips using TGVs, for example, is different. The prices fluctuate according to supply and demand. I think it's really complicated, and usually find that the one train you can take is more expensive than tickets for the same line but on a different day, on a different time. But basically, the earlier you book, the cheaper it is. You can book your railroad ticket on any train station, but most people do it online. The SNCF has a website and mobile application where you can easily see and buy your tickets. But personally, I prefer another website now very famous in France called CaptainTrain.com. That does the same thing, but in a better, simpler way. Either way, they can send you the special code that you can use and print your actual ticket at the train station before you leave, of course at automatic machines, or you can print your ticket at home, or you can just use the app. There are many options, it's easy. For some trips you might have the option to try ID-TGV. It's kind of a brand for TGV, it's online only tickets. You can print them at home or save the QR code on your phone so that your mobile device is your ticket. You just have to show your phone. Last tips. Trains have two classes. We say une classe. If you travel en première classe or en première, you will pay a bit more, but in a TGV you have more room for your legs and most of the time access to an electrical outlet. That's very, very useful. With la seconde classe, en seconde, outlets are only available between coaches, near luggages, or in the toilets. And also, don't expect Wi-Fi anywhere in trains, by the way. France is not there yet, sorry. Food and drinks are usually available in trains for longer trips, but it's very expensive, or really expensive, and there's always a line of people waiting. So a good idea is to bring your own bottle of water and a sandwich, or maybe cookies as well, before leaving. One last thing more personal about trains. My own parents first met on a train many years ago, so you can thank the railway system in France. If there were no trains, you wouldn't be watching this video. Et toi, when did you last take a French train? Which one? Do you have any advice to share about taking the train in France? This would be very useful to the community. Share your experience in French if you dare in the comments below the video. We can all learn from your story. The comment section is the best place to start discussions and ask questions. If you like this video, share it with your friends on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, or even by email. Just very simple. Help me spread the word about Comme, Française. Merci. Love France, dream of sounding French even to the French. Learn how with me, Géraldine, on CommeFrançaise.com, and subscribe to my email updates for exclusive tips on real life in France every Tuesday, plus an exclusive video lesson, Introduce Yourself in French, and it's free. Merci for watching Comme Française TV, sound French even to the French. Allez, salut!